everybody, it's the Van Show, and today we're talking to my friend, Michael Merschel. Say hi, Michael.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Michael. Wait, hi, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it. All right, now, Michael, we got some questions for you.
All right, I'll try to come up with some answers.
Good. The first one is, where are you from?
I live in Richardson, Texas.
All right, now, Michael, you're an author.
I am.
How early did you start writing?
Wow, I remember I always wanted to be a writer. I always liked reading. I started reading really early, and that's where it started for me, is a love of books and a love of reading. And then in about third grade, I decided I would really like to be a writer because I did not like doing math. This is a terrible idea. I do not want anybody out there to think that they should not do math, no matter how much you hate long division. It's not a good idea. You'll end up like a journalist like me, which is my day job. Do math.
You say that like it's a
all
bad
kinds
thing.
of good things, yeah. I'll come from it, but it led me to think, well, if I'm not going to do math, what's available? Writing, and it turns out I love. That was the beginning. I ended up deciding that I wanted to be a newspaper writer, a journalist, and I started doing that in high school. And then many years passed, and here I am talking to you.
Hot dog. Oh, where our paths take us.
Yes, indeed.
Now, as a journalist, were you an investigative journalist?
No, most of, all journalists are a bit investigative, aren't they? Because a journalist's job is to ask questions. So this being a writer has been kind of new to me. I'm not used to having people ask me questions like you're doing now. I'm used to asking the questions. So it's it's kind of hard to be on this end of things, but I've enjoyed it. Mostly I've been an editor, which means that I work with other writers to make their writing better. And right now my job is I actually edit coverage of books. And I edit coverage of the people who write about the performing arts, classical music, and opera, and theater, and really fun stuff like that. So it's a really, really, really fun job. Every now and then I've gotten to do a couple of things. Like one time I took a week to be a reporter, and they sent me off to fly on an airplane through a hurricane.
Ooh.
That was a lot of fun. When I was the age of the character in my book was probably, I liked, there's a series of books by Lloyd Alexander called The Chronicles of Prydain, which is a fantasy book.
Whoa.
And that was the High King is the 5th book in that series and won the Newbery Award. So it's a really great book. And I also love, my favorite all-time book was The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Justice.
Yes, I love that one.
Yeah.
Now, I read that years later, in your adult life, Miss Judy Blume came back into your life. Is that right?
She did, in a way. She was here in Dallas and speaking to people. I didn't get to speak to her, but I wrote about her as a journalist. It was a beautiful event where she was talking about her life and her career, and I wrote something that talked about not only what the event was like, but pointing out why people were drawn to her and how good she was. I love Judy Blume because she always told the truth. I thought that was the beautiful thing about her as a writer, is that she always told it like it was, right? If you read her, you know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
And I put that out and out there, and it ended up on Twitter. And then at some point, she retweeted it and thanked me for it. She actually did that twice. She came back a couple years later. She said, "I've been thinking about what you wrote," and I just about passed out because can you imagine Judy Blume?
I know.
Judy Blume,
that's crazy.
Talking to me, yeah, it was great.
I couldn't imagine. Oh my goodness. So speaking of getting starstruck.
It's okay. No, I'm just another guy. I'm a writer. Oh, you're not talking about me?
No, I am.
Okay.
But I believe you had a starstruck moment. Another one.
I did.
You got to meet Norton Juster, is that right?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
I did. So Norton Juster wrote this wonderful book we were just talking about called The Phantom Tollbooth. And here's what you have to know first, is that when I was growing up, it was before the internet. We all, the only way we could get messages to each other was stapling them to dinosaurs who would carry them across the country to other people. There was no, actually we had to go to libraries.
The Dino Express, I think that's what they called it.
Actually, seriously, we would go to libraries, and there was a thing called a card catalog, which was a big list of index cards that you would pull out And it would tell you, like, if you wanted to see all the books by a certain author, you would find it there. Well, I loved the Phantom Tollbooth so much. Every time I went to a new library, the first thing I would do was try to find something else by Norton Juster, and there never was anything else there. I could never find anything about him. And so I just gave up. I decided he was kind of a phantom himself. I wondered if he actually existed.
Whoa.
Many years pass, okay? And I'm talking to some of the people here in Dallas, the people at the Dallas Museum of Art, do a wonderful series of speakers called Arts and Letters Live. And I was talking to people and saying, so who are you bringing to town this year? I said, oh, we're bringing him and her and this, that. Oh, and there's this children's author you might have heard of, Norton Juster. Yeah, that's what I did. So I got to meet him. I got to interview him. I had a very serious professional interview with him over the phone where I only geeked out a little bit. And then I actually got to meet him. Now, and to end this, the story, there are two other things to tell you. One is, I guess you should know, sometimes when you meet your heroes, it doesn't always go well, right? Because somebody can write a good book, it doesn't mean that he's a nice guy, right? Right?
It happens,
right,
not
yeah.
often, but it does happen.
So, well, I met Norton Juster in person, and you know what? He is the nicest guy.
Oh.
He is so funny.
Woo.
It was like having your crazy uncle around telling Marx Brothers jokes. It was great. And then when he spoke, I was still in the middle of writing my book, and I was looking for a sentence to open it with, as an epigram, not an epitaph. That's when you die. I was looking for an epigram to open the book, and. For this book that I was working on about a kid moving to a new school, and it turns out he had just done a book about a kid moving to a new school.
What?
And he said during the speech, I'm going to hold up so I can read it right. He said during the speech, he was talking about moving, what it's like to moving, and he says, I have a fear of moving. I think it's one of the two worst experiences that you can have as a human being, moving or dying. And I think moving is a little worse because you're there to experience it. And he said that, and I laughed, and I said, oh my gosh, there's the opening to my book. And so thank you, Norton Juster, for a good book and a good opening to mine.
That's awesome. And so speaking of your new book, we'd like to talk a little bit about it. What's it called?
Okay, the book is called Revenge of the Star Survivors.
Ooh.
It is a story of a nerdy kid.
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay, well, you
Hold on.
want to do it? Yeah.
We have a special way to do this.
Okay.
A van show way.
Okay. In a world where junior high school feels like a foreign planet, one student is having a really bad time. Clark Sherman is the star of Revenge of the Star Survivors. How was that? Was that okay?
That was great. You're going to pick a song, but don't tell me what it is.
Okay.
And you're going to play that song on the kazoo.
Okay.
And I have an encyclopedic knowledge of music, so
Okay.
I will be able to guess it in under 30 seconds.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I hope so. Okay, very good.
I hope
It's
so,
been a while
too.
since I played a kazoo. Oh, it's like this here? This
Yeah,
okay.
I think the big end. There you go.
Wow, there we go. Okay.
All right, I'm listening.
Are you ready? Here we go. See if you recognize this number. Let me find the key. Okay, I'm tuned up now. Here.
You got it. That sounds like John Williams, Star Wars: A New Hope from 1977.
Oh, wow. You score. Perfect.
Ah, ding, ding, ding,
Okay,
ding.
that was
All right.
good.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.